All right, it's fight time. And I want everybody that's going to watch this fight to know that we're about to give you something that we hadn't even planned on, but we decided to go ahead and get it live and show you the behind the scenes on the fight day weigh in because Tank Davis is going up against Frank Martin. And what I decided to do is I felt like it was necessary that we all got it in and gave you a little bit of behind the scenes. So as you see right here, here's Leonard Ellaby talking about once again this fiasco with Canelo. So as we break the fight down, I thought it would be good if I gave you some insight on what's going
Like,
to pop off.
who else makes sense besides David Benavidez? I know
Leonard
any.
Ellaby, and after this, I'm going to break this weigh in down because I just could not leave you guys hanging. I want to see what's popping out here. So holla at your boy.
Fight he makes is gonna make money, but like, who else really makes sense for him to?
Wow, amazing. Are you going to be watching the pay-per-view this weekend?
If y'all fucking think Canelo's scared of somebody, y'all crazy. I'm just telling you, this game comes down to this right here. What? And again, David is my guy. I like him. What the fuck is David gonna do that he ain't seen before? He's bigger, and all of that, but he knows how to break down guys. When they fight, I'll be front row.
Of course, he's not afraid of anybody.
So all that dumb shit that the people talking about he's scared and ducking them, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Like the Beaver.
I don't know.
Leonard Ellaby, for those of you who did not see the beginning, Leonard Ellaby was asked a question about, Canelo and Benavidez. And, we all know that Canelo Alvarez is a Mexican fighter. Canelo Alvarez is a legendary fighter. Canelo Alvarez has fought since he was a kid. People in boxing, people are not scared of other people. You just have to make sure that when you fight somebody, when you get to the top level, that they energize you to want to fight them. That puts a mark in your belt, or it got to be about the money. I don't think Canelo actually wants to fight him. And does he look at him and say it's going to be a test? Look, when you see a guy, he's taller, he's longer, he's rangier, he has attributes. What do? You break him down to the body and hit him in the hips. Stay in his chest. It's another day at the office. So all of the Canelo fans stand up. And all of the Benavidez fans, stop it. You just got to have a reason that you really want to fight him. If it was back 5 years ago, if it was back 5 years ago and Canelo was having to prove his mettle to find out his place in Mexican boxing history, hell yeah, he would have fought him. But he has nothing to prove now. So with that being said, sorry, my camera going out. Oops, sorry. But I just think it's going to be a great fight. But we're going to show you guys this weigh-in, and then we'll break it down. Like yesterday, we got a couple of segments that you guys can check out. And I thought it would be good to speak to one of the guys who actually fought Alexander, which is the fighter that Benavidez has fought. And then we're going to get into a couple of clips from our fight show yesterday with former super middleweight champ, Otis Griffin, as we went into it. And I think we gave you some pearls to think about, a lot of different things, understanding the variables of power and how important it is to be majestic in the boxing ring, and how do you acquire these different skills. So 4 segments that we're going to cover on top of the weigh-in, which is about to start now, actually. But hopefully you guys enjoy this show. Let's get into one of Alexander's final fight matches, Otis Griffin. The video, not that one. When you fighting to win, what was your experience like? Which Frank didn't get. He didn't get to walk into a gym and just learn the basics of. Are you learning on the job, Otis?
Well, my first trainer, Nasser Navarone, did a really good job of instilling perfect defense and conditioning. That's probably how I learned boxing so fast. And then once I went to Tommy Brooks, on the reality show and everything, he told me why I was doing everything, which helped me because it wasn't that I couldn't do any certain things. I didn't know when to do them. That's what happens when you have a lot of athletic ability. You don't know when to do this, when to do that. You just know that you can do it. And then you end up looking a little robotic, right? So then once I broke that phase, I went to Ray Woods, who was Diego Corrales' father, and he taught me a lot about rhythm and ring generalship, organs, like where to hit people at, you know, how to handicap fighters and things of that nature. Then I went to John Tandy, which was really a real treat. John Tandy is a guy that he makes fight plans for every big fighter in the world, like the Klitschko brothers, things of that nature. He breaks people down on film. He brings the write-ups to them. And I was at Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead, actually, when he was doing it for other people. I was actually in camp at his house, and I would sit there and watch hours and hours of video with them and ask like why. And then I learned how important it is to stay in the center of the ring 90% of the time. How important it is to throw 90% jabs. How important it is to do a step and replace or be on balance and things of that nature. And then after that, I went back to Sacramento, and I went with one of the best trainers there is, and that's Saifuddin Mateen, who taught me the absolute science of how to do it all, handicap people, why people do whatever, watching people in slow motion before fights. So I really got a great education on boxing as this thing went. But then that's when I got to the level what you were just talking about, where I wasn't, because I was a 1-2 fighter at first, almost like a Larry Holmes type guy, or a classic boxer, right? And then by the end of my career, that's when I could, do the turtle shell. I could do the Philly shell. I was doing stuff off a natural reaction, head movement, countering, splitting people's shots. I knew why and when to do everything.
Tell me this. What if you could go to one place when you decided to go box and all that was in one place? You go through kindergarten, then you go to the first grade, and then you go to the second grade of boxing, third grade of boxing, fourth grade, 4 weeks at a time, 6 weeks at a time, 2 months at a time. You're just going. And in a 5-year period of time, you're just like no regular person on the planet could do anything with you. And so that's why I created the school.
Man, I think the skies would have been the limit because I have all the physical attributes. I even have the cerebral thinking and the ability to absorb knowledge, right? So had I been able to have that at hand, like how you have it, like all in hand, you got to remember, I'm traveling places getting this information. And this wasn't like over a couple of weeks or whatever. This is from like age 24 to like 32. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is like, so yeah, like it was very old school. I was more like the karate movies, right? Where the sensei teaches you one thing and you learn and he goes, all right, great job, student. Go to the next village and there's a guy that's gonna teach you the mongoose style. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like these guys, we're in the information era, so they got to take advantage of that, man. There's stuff that you can learn, like in your doctrine, what you're putting forth. You are essentially having people learn stuff within 2 years that would have took a decade.
Now, before you go, we want you to understand. All right, I told you this was Otis talking about the experience that he had going to all of these different camps and being very athletic basically ended up working against him because he didn't really know when to use skills. And a lot of you and several people have left messages, and I'm going to address a couple of those questions that you left, but he was trying to give it to all of the young up and coming fighters who have trainers, and the trainers, sometimes you get a little lazy when you got somebody that's really good and athletic physically, But what happens is you don't do enough real deep diving into the sport and the actual tutelage. You got to get up under that banner, man. And what he found out is he knew how to do things, he just didn't know when. So remember, I always say, not only know what to do, but when to do it is as important as that. Period. Point blank. And if you don't know when to do it, you might as well not even know how to do it, because if you do it at the wrong time, you're gonna get exposed. But I think these guys are looking so sharp right now. And one of the things that happened the other day is Tank did not show up to one of the press conferences on Tuesday. But lo and behold, the data had come out that Tank was preparing for the fight. He was out running, getting in shape. He was focused, and that's a telltale sign. When a guy is more focused on fighting, training, being ready, rather than promoting, that means it's not about the money. That means it's more about this. So, this is one of the stories that Otis, who actually fought the opposition that Benavidez is up against, and this guy is good. I mean, he stopped and nearly killed our guy Adonis Stevens from over in the UK. I mean, this dude is no joke, and he's a real light heavyweight. So here's Otis talking about that fight, his final fight as a professional boxer.
It was my last fight. My last fight was against Alexander. I had a injury that was suffered in sparring, where my T rib disconnected from my sternum. So I took a cortisone shot and went in and kept the fight and made it happen. But so one thing I would say is that was a long time ago. That was like 2013 or something, 2000, something, 14, 13. But I would say that later on, he ended up hurting Adonis Stevenson really bad, almost ending his life. And I didn't understand why, because I thought he was more of a volume puncher than he was a power puncher. And that's what he did. But I will say this: he comes from a great pedigree of boxing, being from the Ukrainian Olympic team and everything. So even in our fight, he would punch in volumes, like try to pin me on the ropes, punch in volumes. Then when I would start my offense, he would make me come to him, trying to walk me into a shot that he could split. But I knew that was coming. So we just went back and forth trying to play mind games with each other for a long time before he finally knocked this rib loose, and then I couldn't continue or whatever. But he is a very cerebral fighter, and a lot of people don't realize that he fought myself and Adonis Stevenson at light heavyweight, meaning that he's going to be the bigger guy in this fight. So not only is he going to have pedigree, the cerebral knowledge over Benavidez, and he's going to be the toughest fight Benavidez has had thus far, even tougher than Boo Boo and all those other guys. But he's going to weigh more. He's a bigger guy. So this could be an upset in the makes. But I think Benavidez has more dog in him. But don't slouch on Alexander.
If you found this show informative and you
That's
want to see
going
another
to
clip,
be
click
an
right here.
absolute special
Now, if you want to
piece
see the
of
show in its
knowledge
entirety,
tonight. I mean, tomorrow you're going to see a lot. Special ability to be inside of the ring. But like Otis was just saying, that when you get in there against guys at this level, and you really feel like you got everything, and then the fight starts and you're like, I cannot put it together. But what I'm going to address is what Otis was saying about this guy who had a mindset when he approached you. When he's in front of you, he's not just boxing you, he's playing chess. He's positioning you in a manner that you're not clear about what he's doing. Sean Porter said it best. He said when he fought Errol Spence, he felt like he was always in control of the fight. But when he fought Bud Crawford, he felt like he was always a chess match. And one day you're going to get in front of somebody, and you're going to have, either you're going to be coaching your fighter, or the fighter is going to be directly in front of this guy, and everything you do, it's going to feel strange. And what that is the guy understands the phrase that I use all the time. He understands the periodic table of boxing. And I say it all the time. There's a difference between a guy who has skills and a guy who understands the science of boxing, the periodic table. Like no matter where you are in that boxing ring, he understands exactly how to make you freeze, lock you up. You can't move. You feel like you're in quicksand. One of Bernard Hopkins' favorite terms was, doesn't matter what you're going to bring. And James Toney would be first to say, because it ain't going to be enough. Because you don't know what you don't have until you've been addressed with the scenario that somebody can take it from you. And I told you, if there's anybody who wants to challenge their defense, who feels like they got great defense, I'm going to give you an opportunity to come here and say, I will have your defense challenged, because what you don't understand about boxing is it takes, and anybody who's fought will tell you this, it takes 20 complete years to really have the real clarity about this sport. And then the next 10 years, you really started cementing it inside of your bones and your flesh. And that's why older people sometimes continue to try to fight, because they're like, I know more here. I understand it more. It's more comprehensive. So sometimes when you see our video posts, they really break things down. And I know you've never heard it before, because we are operating from the dictionary of boxing. It's the Bible. And so what I try to do is give you guys insight. And we begin it because the first dive into it is that 52 weeks training guide. And that guide is designed from all of the great techniques and skills that I saw coming up are all encompassed in that book. And those training drills are all in there. And this is for 4 decades of knowledge and stuff. This book was made physically in this form in 2016, but it had been written over a decade before that, right? But I wanted to not miss anything, any training techniques, any skills, but put it in a manner. But when you get inside of that ring and you try to do anything, and we did it to everybody. I did it at if it was your day one in the ring time, first time sparring, or if you had retired and you were Olympic gold medalist and you fought and you was a world champion, now you're in the Hall of Fame. It didn't matter what level you were on. This method takes anything away from anybody. I don't care how good you thought it was. So if you want your defense tested, if you want to feel like, you think your offense is so good or your defense is so good, I'll show you, because the 5-layer defense thing it's not a joke. Like, it really is 5 layers, and in each one of those layers, there's a basic, there's a advanced, there's unconventional, and then there's how you make it your own. What do you call that? That's tier 4. And you'll learn that when you get inside of a camp where it's all explained. The Bible of boxing is explained. So let's see what's going on with this other conversation. We discussed a little bit more about the 4 the types of power. All right, there's that thudding power like George Foreman has, that he can hit you on top of the head and you can't feel your feet, like Riddick Bowe did the Evander Holyfield. He said he hit me on top of the head and I couldn't feel my feet. Going back to the corner, they're like, you good? He was like, yeah, if I don't need to walk. I'm like, then George Foreman would hit you, and Ken Norton said, his whole head went numb. That's a scary kind of power. And then there's that power like Ernie Shavers, when he hits you, and he hits you so hard that it's like it's cutting through and breaking bones. You know what I'm saying? So that's the act of power, not just force and velocity. And then you have Tyson power, where he's built from the bottom, and then He really has that explosiveness, that speed to go with the torque and all of that. And when you get hit by that, you're just blanking out. And so he was knocking guys out. He was discombobulating them. Tank has that special kind of power. Boom. And so what you're finding there is that there are variations of power. Now, what did you think of power? I mean, did you think that a guy's born and he just got stones in his hand? Or did you understand that when it becomes a sport, power is only relevant when a guy can't defend it? So I'm going to explain. I'm going to go into detail about what power actually is and how can you really determine particular types of power. Okay, so I'm going to go over the 2 of 8 different types of power. One of the guys that you're going to find that has power, what's going to happen is in this vertebrae. Now, I want you all to pay close attention. You can stand next to a guy. Maybe let's just say he's 5'9.5", a little about that size of Diego Corrales, right? And I say Diego Corrales because before Diego Corrales died, I was with him in Vegas. Okay. And Diego Corrales is about 5'10.5", right? So one of the things that Diego Corrales had, and when people, and I mean, we hung out and I got big hands, but when I grabbed his hand, my hand swallowed his whole hand, right? And his hand was like this. And so for the typical person, you'd think this guy's weak, this guy's frail. But what you are missing out on is at the bottom of his spine to the center of his back, there's what we call an extension. It's an extra vertebrae, right? And so if you go back to the Corrales versus Castillo first fight, you'll see Diego Corrales throwing these shots. And he also has part 2 of this power differential. All right. This is a differential piece of just anatomy, right? So at the bottom of the back, this is a remote control. At the bottom of the back, you'll notice that from the lower spine to the lower latissimus dorsi. The latissimus dorsi is the lat muscle, which is some people call them wings. Marvin Hagler had tremendous wings. So when you look at Diego Corrales, he had a straight vertebrae, and at the end of that vertebrae landed his wings, right? When a guy can create velocity from down there, that's where velocity is created. The torque comes from the base, the foot, the pivot, sitting down in your stance. He didn't really have to sit down in the stance because one of the things that he had is he had his wind up was at the lower part of his back. So whenever you see that anywhere, and most of the time, we're talking 95% of the time, these guys are wire skinny. I'm talking like this remote control, skinny, but all the power is down here. And if you understand anatomy, the different 8 signs of true power outside of just size, this doesn't even equate that. This does not encompass size. This has nothing to do with size. Real power is about particular anatomic pieces that go into you and infuse into your physiology. And when it comes down to hitting, you're built to throw punches. And all of these signs, I mean, I guess I'm saying none of these signs actually are relevant to the naked eye. You don't see the guy and say, man, he look like he can punch. It's different things. So we're doing we're doing a workshop where we try to give you a little bit more of the behind the scenes in this area. We call it the coach's corner for our coaches. So next Wednesday, I think we're going to do something. Make sure you guys DM us if you want to sit in and learn about when it comes down to hitting, how can you be a real hitter? And even if you're not a puncher, I taught 100% of my class could knock you out, right? Because they learn techniques. And I told them that all of those guys would learn how to hit. Guess what I did? Guess Zach, this is what I did. I bet every single guy when we teach you hinge punch that all of you guys were going to go out. They were going to all get knocked out. And none, we had one guy who actually been on the canvas. Out of all of my class, it was about maybe 11 killers in one class. And I said, everybody's going to go down. And so as I break this down, when you're boxing, see, boxing in the street is street fighting, but boxing in the ring competitively is a sport. But when it comes to prize fighting, it's a gladiator sport. That means it's not a sport. You only get paid for it. That's why they got prize, but it's a fight. It's not boxing. So strategically, there are a lot of what we call wrinkles in there, and their method, the methodology we call it is KG. KG is knowing how to make something happen that physiologically is not meant to happen, like knocking someone down that weighs 40 pounds more than you. So I promised, or I bet each and every one of those guys, guess what ended up happening when I bet them? 9 out of the 11 were positive that they couldn't get knocked down. Only one person who hadn't been knocked down did not go against what I said, because you know why? They believed me. They bought into my method, my science. It's called the Eric Bradley method for a reason. So here's what happened. Day one, all of them got on the calendar and we spar. I'll tell you how much we spar in that Coach's Corner clinic. Make sure you message if you want to take part in that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be free. We just want you guys to really see how much you don't know, because you don't know a whole lot of shit. So when the first one got in the ring, I'm not going to say names, but they know who they are. Hopefully you guys are watching. Got in the ring. One was at lightweight, literally 130. He hadn't even gotten to 135 yet. And the other guy was at 190 at that time. No, he weighed 178 that day, but because he had been on our nutrition plan. So he had lost like 12 pounds of his natural weight size, but he fought at 175, but that was fine. We actually was sending him to spar with Sean Porter when Sean Porter was going to fight. I mean, when he fought Errol Spence. So those two got in the ring, 40 pounds difference. And the kid comes in, head movement, pop, pop, learning the hinge punch, boom, 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 boom. They bumping. And guess what happens? The 132 guy, because he was at 132. I know because when he weighed in at the Golden Gloves, that's what he was on that weight for 2 days straight. So I remember that. That's exactly what triggered it. He got in the ring and he beat the 175 guy to a place where he surrendered after the his third round of sparring. And why? Not because he went down. He didn't go down, but he got lumped up. Because see, the hinge punches isn't about swinging hard, and it's not about using a lot of energy. Hinge punch is a science, and it's in our punch pad for pros. I had to put it. I wanted to call it prize fighter power or punch like a prize fighter. I don't know. If you had a name to give something that teaches you how to punch in a different kind of way, give me a name that I can call it, because the program is just lights out. You can't get it unless you're in the Champions University. So don't try to ask for it unless you sign up there. But give me a name. I like to use a name, and I really wanted to have a cool name. I done punch pad for pros because you learn how to use pads. Another couple of names I've given it, like prize fighter power and something like that. I can't give it the perfect name, but the second guy ended up going down, and he was the best boxer. You see some of the footage that he does out here in social media. He has some of the best skills that we've ever displayed out here in social media. Beautiful boxing, and his ass went down. And it's all up because it's about the science. So that's what you always realize. The people that you think you can't beat, you just have to learn how to beat them, because it's a way to beat all of those guys. That's why I always tell you, if you feel like you at the top of your game, show up. We down here in South Florida. South Florida. All right. You start at Palm Beach, you go to Broward, you go to Dade. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. Just come. You're invited. Just make sure you understand when you get here, it's nothing but smoke. But the reality is, all of you have the opportunity to really learn what it is to know boxing and how much you don't understand about it. And like Otis was just saying, damn, man, I knew how to do stuff. I just didn't know when to apply it, because that's what we're going to make you do. We're going to make you not know when to apply what you know. So let's hear him one more time. Came in there with all the athleticism. And so he kind of wanted to get to stage 3, because the basics is the foundation. That's what he didn't get. Here's how you can measure fighters. Here are four phases to boxing, right? Phase 1, which Frank didn't get. He didn't get to walk into a gym and just learn the basics of boxing. He came in there with all the athleticism. And so he kind of wanted to get to stage 3, because the basics is the foundation. That's what you're going to rely on when you're fighting for titles. You're going to go back to that, because that's the most simple form of a fight. Dictation, understanding distance and range, and being able to control. Whoever has control over that wins the fight 99% of the time, barring someone slip on a banana peel. When you think about this, phase 2 is the advanced levels of boxing. And in advance, it helps you get and apply different skills in sets to overcome whatever the opposition has on a much deeper level. And that's basics and advanced. Phase 3 is the unconventional styles of boxing. When you think about boxing, you get hands up, cover your face, chin tucked, shoot the jab, hand back to face. But when you're in unconventional style, you're in a peekaboo. You're squared up. You're in the Philly shell. One hand down. It goes against all the rules of boxing. You're in the cutie style. Chin out. Both hands down. Playing around. And then turtle shell and all of the other arm bar training systems. That's unconventional styles of boxing. And when you get to that phase, I think that's kind of what fighters that have natural athleticisms, they do. If you watch them do really basic exercises, they always have flaws in them because they never mastered them. And then you go to phase 4. We call this your craft in boxing. You've literally made this your own. And that's your style now. That's why I was teaching in our curriculum the peekaboo, the Philly shell, the cutie style, learning how to know all of the different postures, not just American style boxing or Cuban style boxing, but knowing how to posture people at ranges and control the distance and lateral movement and fighting off of your back foot. So if you start learning all of that stuff first, then you have no foundation to base it on. If you found this show informative, all right. We're getting ready to check out the weigh-in. Gary Russell Jr. and those guys are up. So hang tight. Let's check out the weigh-in. Let's get it popping. Neil. Hold up. Oh, here we go.
Puello. £139.8, 139.8 for Alberto Puello. And now to the scale, his opponent with an outstanding perfect record of 17 wins, no losses, all 17 wins coming by way of knockout. The 2016 U.S. Olympian, the hard-hitting, undefeated world-ranked contender.
All right, I'm going to turn it down just in case because I know they're going to try to flag you, so I'll give you all the details. But I want you guys to really enjoy the weigh-in, and I'm going to tell you what I think specifically. This is my mentors, my coach. This is his people. He's down with the Gary Russell clan, very close friends with him, basically family up there in the DMV area. So this is really cool to see that whole clan just grow up like this, man. Boxing just it's just so special. You build such a you get to build such a relationship and such a camaraderie with people. I hope all of you guys get the opportunity one day to reach a level of boxing where you get to see what it's like to be out here in Vegas and like the pictures and the experiences and just the limelight and see all the fighters and the former fighters and current fighters. It's so cool. Let's see the weigh-in. Let me step back a little bit. Sorry, hold on. Those Russell boys, man, they are built different. Like they are some real athletes. And this kid, he got rock hands. True, true rock hands. I mean, this kid is really, really dishing out some pain. And I think he's chasing Shakur Stevens for a fight. But he just don't bring enough money.
And to lead us in this interview, please welcome talented combat sports reporter.
Yeah, this is going down.
We'll have my colleague Martin Batzer translate for us. Puello, 2 undefeated fighters. Someone's always got to go. How do you ensure you get the victory tomorrow night?
Esta pelea entre dos peleadores invictos. Alguien lo tiene que perder. ¿Cómo ves que será esta
Oh, he's speaking Spanish, so you won't be able to understand him anyway. But I sure wish they had somebody who could really do the. I wish the, you think as sophisticated as the AI is today, that while they're talking, it could be saying what they're saying through the microphone, even in his own voice. Don't you think it should be able to do that at this by now? Like it can do everything, but the interviews that you actually want to look at, crazy. Special shouts out to you. Let me know, check in and let me know where you're watching from. My people over here on Instagram, shout out. And who you guys pulling for tomorrow? Tomorrow I do my prediction. We'll go live and we'll discuss it and we'll really go into depth of what it's all about is when it comes down to what you should look for during the weigh-in. And today we'll be able to tell you a lot. Now, I can take it that Tank missed that he missed that presser the other day because he wanted to get in shape, even more shape. Now, I know since he was locked up and he's been really training and living that life that, weight shouldn't be a problem, but you never know, man. You could be living that life and next thing you know, you just can't make the weight no more. Special shout out to you, brother. I see you. Knoxville, Tennessee is in the building. Let me see what else is in the building. USA. Where in the USA, bro? Come on now, don't do that. Let me hear Gary.
It's a lineage that I gotta work forward towards, and I'm gonna just keep that hard work and blood, sweat, and tears that I done went through. I'm not gonna let that go in vain. So I'm gonna come up here and show my showcase style and let everybody know that I'm coming to win. Stay victorious, keep my O, keep my knockout, everything. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give y'all a juicy show. I know that's what y'all come to see.
I heard you say earlier this week that you feel like Puello is going to make you have to bring a few more tools out of your arsenal. Can you give the fans a hint on what those tools might be?
I can't give y'all that hint. I'll be giving y'all too much sauce. But just stay tuned. It's going to be a juicy match. This is the perfect platform to show y'all.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Gary Antoine. Good luck tomorrow night.
All right. So you know what that is. You got to make sure you don't talk so much during these pressers. They're going to ask you questions. That's what their job is. They're going to try to get more information out of you than you should be giving up. So one of the things that you got to be careful about is not talking too much, knowing what to say. Give them some stuff, but don't give them anything that could be held against you. And don't give them anything. I've seen guys go up there and talk about their game plan. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the body. We plan on going to the body early and then attack the head late. Like, dude, that might be the only thing that could be working, and they already know you're gonna do it, and they plan for it. And sometimes the plans work. They plan for it. You giving them let them feel anxiety. Let them feel anxiety. Let me see. Yeah, I appreciate it, Raymond. Raymond Rodriguez, special shouts. Raymond, where you from, Raymond? I remember seeing you on the call, so special shouts out to you. And I feel like all those years in those gyms and these fights and sitting over across from these guys like Jim Lampley. But to be honest, man, most of the time that I did it because I was under the tutelage of Coach Bradley. And being there, you feel a certain way. So what I'm going to do is tell you what you can expect when you are in a camp at that level. And every day you walk in there, somebody that you've been watching on television is showing up at that gym, and then you'll eventually possibly be working with that person, and you are unexperienced, but you're good at what you do. You really are good at what you do. You're so thorough that you can pull it off. So that was my case. But I remember when Riddick Bowe fought this kid named Larry Donald, and you can go to YouTube and you can find this guy. And hold on, let me see who that is. See who that is. I can't recall who that is. Oh, is that Benavidez guy? Oh man. Sorry guys.
Sport, the two-time WBC
Benavidez.
super middleweight champion of the world, David El Monstro Benavidez. 174.2, 174.2 for the Mexican monster.
He came in really light. I guess it's not so easy to get all the way back to 175 and feel your way when you've been making that 168 weight class. The body is a funny thing, man. Make sure you guys, I don't care what it is, don't have a car, but make sure you got a weight management coach. Yeah. Yeah, that dude he's a big guy.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen, at 12 rounds of boxing, the WBC interim light heavyweight world title. David El Monstro Benavidez versus Alexander the Nail Wolstick in a co-main event of the evening. Now to hear from both of our fighters, once again, please.
Let's go. I'm turn it down until Benavidez talk. I just want to be careful.
Entire career, you fought some of the best in that division. What's your final message to David Benavidez before tomorrow night?
Well, now it's time to fight one of the best in 168 who moving up in 175.
Enough said right there. And you took a 4-year break from boxing, but you came back last year in 2023. What would it mean to you to win the WBC interim title tomorrow night?
It's an awesome and great opportunity to become a two-time world champion. and became, in general, world champion again.
Well, thank you so much, and good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Now I'll head over to David. Good to see you. The last time you stepped on the scale anywhere close to 175 was in 2015, almost 10 years ago. What can the fans expect to see from you tomorrow night with that extra weight and that extra energy?
You could see an even more destructive monster in the ring, and I feel amazing. I can't wait to go in there and give you guys a hell of a performance. Pero le quiero dar las gracias a toda mi gente y toda mi raza que vinieron a apoyar. Los quiero mucho y sábado vamos por la victoria.
And what's your prediction for this fight?
I'm going for the knockout. The monster always goes for the knockout, and that's what I'm going to get this Saturday.
What kind of message do you think that's going to send to the light heavyweight division if you, at your first fight at this weight class, if you can stop a guy?
It's just going to let everybody know I'm here, and the new champion is coming soon.
All right, good luck. We'll see you in the ring tomorrow night. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
That's good. He looks really good. And another thing that I wanted to share with you all is, David Benavidez is down here training, at Boxer Gym down in Miami, right? And I'm telling you, and I'll get back to the story about Larry Donald because that's a very good story. But, he's down there with people where the money is, and he's around champions. And when you're around that kind of pedigree, every day you got to get up or you'll get your head knocked off. Everybody's on their game. You got Andre Berto down there, Roy Jones, Andre Darrell, all of these just top people, not just having good other fighters. There's a lot of other champions in there, but people who've already done it, who have a wealth of knowledge, who understand being up under the lights. You're training in a facility that has just star power written all over it. And it's celebrities in the building. So it's always like this every single day, Monday through Sunday. So Benavidez isn't shaken or stirred because the cameras are always on his life now because he switched where he was training. And that's what I'm going to tell you. You got to do things that's going to prepare you for the lights, and being in Miami is that'll prepare you for the lights, trust me. But I want you to understand, if you're around people who don't have but a few years of experience, I'm sorry, you're just not going to make it. In order to be great, you got to be around greatness. You got to be around people who got experience. You will not make it. I don't care how good you think you are. It's too much to know. It takes decades to get this game. So you need people around you with decades. Let me see who that is. All right, let's see. Let's get this back up on the screen. Let me see what's popping. Oh, that's Tank. I'm gonna give y'all the whole screen with this one. So it just appears that he's run down there.
And it looks like our fighters are ready to get started a little bit early. First, let's bring them to
Oh, they on early.
135 pounds is the weight limit for the WBA lightweight championship of the world. First, ladies and gentlemen, undefeated with a record of 18 wins, no losses, and 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the undefeated all-action challenger, introducing Frank the Ghost Martin. $134.4 pounds, 134.4 for Frank the Ghost Martin. And now we bring the defending champion to the scale. His record, 29 wins, no losses, 27 knockouts to his credit. One of boxing's pound-for-pound superstars, the defending WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta the Tank Davis.
Yeah.
Gervonta Tank Davis Davis weighs in at a trim and ready 133.4 pounds. The fight is on for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World.
Okay. But what I did see is I did see 10 rectus abdominal muscles on on Frank. If he does not win and become champion, he can at least be a bodybuilder. Because I mean, this dude is definitely a physical specimen. To be that muscular and be under 135 is insane. But we know this ain't a bodybuilding contest. And I'll talk to you about understanding muscle after they talk, because you guys will want to know about how to measure muscle, how much the muscle that you need and how much you don't need, and what does muscle benefit you and how does it work against you. Wow. Yeah, Frank Martin looked dehydrated. Good guy, his cheekbones.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. The WBA Lightweight World Championship main event. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank the Ghost Martin. Do not blink. Do not miss this all-action main event of the evening. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from both of our fighters. I turn it over to Jordan Plant.
Frank, that was a very intense stare down. Can you tell the fans what was being said right there?
We just both ready. You know, we ready for tomorrow. I'm stepping on his ass tomorrow, period.
Do you enjoy being the underdog in all this, and does it give you extra motivation?
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy that there's so many people in this arena that's sleeping on me. It's a blessing. You know what I mean? I'm a dog and I'm coming out on top. I don't give a damn who he is. I'm coming out on top tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, you have the opportunity to change your life if you win this fight. How surreal is this moment for you?
This everything. You know, this moment right here, you know what I mean? If y'all see me get emotional in that ring tomorrow after I get that dub, it's from all the hard work that I've been putting, all the sacrifices. You know what I mean? I'm coming out on top tomorrow, so just know that.
Good luck. Thank you so much. That's a very focused Frank Martin, everybody. Now I'll head over to Gervonta Davis. The WBA lightweight champion of the world, Gervonta Davis. Your face-offs are always intense, and I saw you even went over there and said a little something to him in the beginning. Is that something you plan, or you just kind of feel it in the moment?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'll say it again. I saw you walk over there earlier and say something to Frank Martin, and your face-offs are always kind of fun. Is that something you plan, or do you just feel that in the moment?
I'm just getting in his head. He can't even make weight. He's been working for a minute to make weight, so.
All right, so you don't plan that. Well, I want to know, is this going to be the most dangerous Gervonta Davis we've seen yet? Because you said you've got a lot built up. You're going to take it out on him.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy out there. So hope he prepared and hope he's been training hard. So tomorrow is going to be a great night for the sport of boxing.
I agree with that. Now, I know you bring out some of the biggest rap artists in the game when you walk to the ring. Who's walking with you to the ring tomorrow night?
Got to turn in or be here tomorrow to see.
Can you give the fans a hint and say, what city is he from?
Can't do that. Can't do it.
All right, well, we're going to be looking forward to that. And I also want to know, you've been out 14 months. Have you been practicing that backflip?
Yeah. You want to see?
Hey! Love it. Good luck to you tomorrow night. Everyone, Gervonta Davis!
Thank you, everyone, for your attendance. That's the main event of the evening.
All right. That was definitely one. That was lit. Let me see. Outside Nashville. Okay, that's what it is. Raymond, appreciate you, brother. And my people on Instagram, I can't see you right now because I got to pull it up right here. But you know what you just saw right there is a determined Frank Martin. Now I saw him on Wednesday at the press conference, the final press conference, and one of the things that I noticed is I was thinking this dude he will have to dry out at least 10 to 12 pounds. That's always on the table when boxing, but I tried to make it clear to all of the guys who are in the sport. Some of you trainers, it's not your job to make the fighter lose weight. You got to have a person that specializes in weight loss management, not a personal trainer. Now, can a personal trainer get someone who doesn't come from that field in shape? Absolutely. And the result of that could be weight loss or muscle gain. But a weight loss management coach, a actual nutrition, licensed nutrition or dietitian, understands how to put those things together. And it's not just an automatic fix. Because what I noticed with Frank is there's excessive dehydration in the face, which is obvious that he's taken at least 10 pounds of fluid out of his body. Therefore, his electrolytes, he looked and sounded weak, like he had to force that out. And Tank knew that because Tank knows the signs in the eyes. When the eyes are sunk in, it's one thing when the face is a little drawn up. Here are three things that you got to pay attention to. When I talked to this, we did a show about this about a year or so ago. Coach, me and Otis and Shane Mosley. When you look at these guys and you're paying attention to particular areas, when this guy rib cage is sunk in, when under his eyelids are sunk in, like his eyes about to roll out of his head, that's a medical condition. That's malnutrition. That's not just drying out. That's malnutrition. That means there are particular electrolytes that the body actually needs, essential fats that the body needs and the brain needs. That's one of the main reasons you see fighters when they get in the ring and it's just like they are lethargic after the fourth or fifth round. It's because they've taken and extracted all of the fats out of their body with the water and the electrolytes. So their body is operating on autopilot. So their body's in turmoil. And then when they get in the ring and those punches start going, they might look like they're in shape, but they're not in shape. And so there's so much that you got to know about boxing. So if you ever want to know how much you don't know, you just listen to me because I'm going to tell you the bottom line. And I'm going to always give you stuff that I know you don't have access to. Why? Because I know I didn't have access to it. When I came in the first 10 years, 15 years, I was still in the gym learning as if it was day one. So I know you haven't been around that much boxing. And don't let anybody tell you that they've seen it all because they haven't. 4 decades. And the people that taught me what is collectively 134 years. So I know what it feels like to know it all because I got proof. I'm an author of 30 of these. You all right? We're talking about probably 7,000 pages I'm responsible for. That's what I know. Now you put what you know against that, it don't even stack up. So that's what the kind of stuff I'm giving you, the stuff that you don't have access to. These are categories in different fields. So when I look at Tank looked like he was in shape before camp. That's what you look like when you're in shape before camp. Like tomorrow, he'll probably put on 8 to 11 pounds because he's gonna hydrate, but he's been going around light. I think he came into camp at 138. So I don't think he'll look much different tomorrow. He's going to be lightning quick. And now I'm going to give you last thing about why you don't want to have a lot of muscle on your body. Number one reason is because muscle and body, muscle ratio versus the body, oxygen levels. The more muscle you add, the more dense and tight you are, the more that the muscles optimized to suck more oxygen. It needs more. You have to feed it more. So every time you move, the body requires oxygen, and the lungs are only this big, right? The lungs are only this big. Like the lungs are so small. And the moment that they're trying to pump that valve, because the heart pumps this everything, right? And those lungs take that oxygen and try to push it to the muscles. As it pushes that air and that oxygen, the body's screaming for it. Guys getting hit to the body, getting hit up top, anxiety, all of the stress, his body stress, everything's going into this anxious state. And then it's sucking more oxygen. That go back and look at the Anthony Joshua versus Klitschko fight. Just go watch the whole fight. That's what you'll see. Deficit of oxygen. Go look at Anthony Joshua versus Usyk, both fights. You'll see oxygen deficiency from a muscular man. And that's the trade-off. See, a man without all of that dense muscle will be able to refurbish the oxygen, and the muscles won't require the oxygen to replenish itself. The VO2 levels are higher in a person that has less muscle because they are able to do what we call activate slow twitch muscle, which 15th hundredth of a second slower than the quick twitch muscle, which allows it to use less oxygen. Hence is why you see long distance runners be able to run long distances, because their bodies don't burn as much oxygen or doesn't suck as much oxygen, and they can run the mile, those Olympic guys, in 4 minutes, 4-minute miles. They're not even running fast as they can run. So that goes to show you that there is a different variance between quick twitch muscle burners like Frank Martin and slower twitch muscle Tank. The definition tells you all, when Tank ain't in shape, he's chubby and stuff. When Frank Martin's not in shape, he's only got 8-pack muscles, but he got a 10-pack on his stomach. So hopefully you guys continue to stay in the tune in Champions University, the School of Boxing Knowledge, and continue to watch, because tomorrow is going down. I'm gonna give you a prediction. So if you're gonna bet on the fight, make sure you tune in. Instagram tomorrow. We'll probably hop on maybe noon, between 12 or 3. It'll be one of the two. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you are looking to do something really cool, make sure you learn boxing in school, because you can't learn boxing textbook wise in a gym setting. Learning is about classroom setting, so you can understand something that's comprehensive. Then you can go and and put it in an application, that's what you do at the gym. The application happens at the gym, but the retention that goes into your frontal cortex, that's where your memory works. All right. So there's levels to knowledge, it's levels to learning, and it's levels to boxing. If you want to know how to get to the highest level, continue to follow for more. Until next time, continue blessing. Special shouts out to those who keep the lights on here, jabjuice.com, who represents the boxing community, taking them and helping them build their brands, expand their knowledge of the game, and making sure that they turn what they're doing into an empire. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Spike time. Peace out.